Since Halloween is one of my favorite holidays, I wanted to make a graveyard terrarium. I plan to make at least 2 more graveyard terrariums, and I'll have videos on those later on this month. I found this pumpkin jar at Kroger and I figured it'd be perfect for what I'm wanting to do. And I'm going to show step by step on how I make the terrarium. Start by adding a layer of gravel. The gravel will work as a false bottom for excess water to drain into. Next, I add a layer of plastic pet mesh. I normally use fiberglass window screen, but I didn't have any on hand. The screen will work as a barrier between the false bottom and the substrate. Next, I add some crushed up charcoal. You can get charcoal at most stores. Make sure it's the lump charcoal, or you can buy the containers of carbon for fish tank filters. Both of those work fine. The charcoal will help filter excess water that flows through it, and it will prevent the water from becoming stagnant and help cut down on the risk of mold growing. Next, I add the substrate. I'm using some leftover substrate I use in my isopod bins, but any kind of potting soil will do. I mound up the substrate on what's going to be the back end of the terrarium. This will help create depth and character to the terrarium. Next, I add the moss to the terrarium. This is some I collected locally. A lot of times you can find moss around buildings, in your yard, or in your local forest. You can also buy moss from most craft stores, and most pet stores in the reptile section. Once the moss starts growing and establishing, it will fill in some of the gaps in between the pieces. Since I'm limited on a room, I'm only using the moss in this terrarium. If you have a larger jar or larger terrarium that you're setting up, you can also use stuff like small ferns and other small terrarium plants. My goal for the moss is for it to look like an abandoned cemetery that the grass has taken over. And finally, it wouldn't be a cemetery without tombstones. I bought this set of 12 tombstones off of Amazon, and I'll post a link in the description. I picked out the 3 I wanted for this terrarium and positioned them where I wanted them. At this point, the terrarium is nearly complete. The final step is to water it. I use a spray bottle and mist everything down. This will help rehydrate some of the moss and it also adds the water that the terrarium needs. Once I was done with that, I wiped off some of the excess water off the glass. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure you liked it and subscribed to keep up with what we're doing. And make sure you stay tuned for my other graveyard terrarium builds that are coming out later on this month. Again, thank you for watching.